Welcome back to the Roman Roads YouTube channel. This is Roman's Review, and today we're talking about Deadpool 2. I saw the first Deadpool when it came out 2 years ago, and I really enjoyed the movie. I thought it was funny, I enjoyed the irreverent humor, I liked the fourth wall breaking, and overall I thought it was a refreshing take on the superhero story, all the superhero films that were coming out. And I pretty much expected the same going into the sequel. I know with change in directors and adding additional cast like Josh Brolin as Cable and adding other characters like Domino, I knew that there might be a little bit more action and a bit of a different style. And pretty much what I expected, I got. Ryan Reynolds was born to play the Merc with the mouth. He is funny, he is charming, and he sells the jokes so well. And he also sells the action, and it's one thing that I really liked was the physicality that he brings to Deadpool. Because, half the movie he is in the Deadpool suit, and, there's a trope in a lot of superhero movies when a superhero has a mask costume, he has to take it off in order for you to see his face, in order so they can emote, But Ryan Reynolds, even with the Deadpool mask on, you can tell that it's him beneath that costume, and just the way he moves around, and not just with physical humor, but just with the way he exudes the character, as he's walking around, as he tilts his head in certain shots, and he reacts to other characters. It keeps you engaged, and you see him as a fully fleshed character. And overall, the cast does a great job of bringing their characters to life. Josh Brolin as Cable is awesome. He played Thanos in Avengers Infinity War a few weeks ago, and now he's back as Cable, and he brings this rough and gruffness to it, and this real serious side to it. He is the straight man to Ryan Reynolds, kind of crazy antics, and he does such a good job because he starts off kind of like as an antagonist, and as the story progresses, you see a change in his character and how he evolves. And, Josh Brolin just knocks it out of the park because, he's wryly funny, but he's serious. And Zazie Beetz is a nice addition as Domino. She's very charming, and she brings this kind of playfulness to the character. And I really wish to see more of her in the sequels. Hopefully, if they make an X-Force movie, she'd be great as a team. Julian Dennison, who plays... His name's Russell, but he has this mutant name, the superhero name as Fire Fist, I believe. He's kind of the central of the plot. Cable kind of comes back from the future in order to capture Julian Dennis's character Russell, and most of the plot revolves around that. And he does such a good job. I don't know how old this kid is, but he's able to be so funny and yet so serious and dramatic at the same time. And that's one thing that I really liked about the sequel was it was very funny. It has the irreverent humor. It has the fourth wall breaking. There's a lot of meta jokes, making fun of Fox and their cast of Marvel characters, including the X-Men. Wolverine, of course, has jabs at Wolverine, but also jabs at the other Marvel characters in the MCU, and even the DC comic characters in those movies that come out, like the Batman versus Superman and all that. It was really funny, but there was such a dramatic underside to it, and there's kind of an emotional flow through in the story that was kind of surprising. This is a much smaller scaled superhero story line. It's kind of refreshing to get kind of a smaller story as opposed to what we saw in Avengers Infinity War, which is like the end of the world kind of scenario. This is much more streamlined, much more personal, and I really like that. It didn't get too bogged down in kind of end of the world antics and big action sequences like other superhero movies, where it seems like it needs to escalate to a certain extent. And I really like that about Deadpool 2. And, talking about drama, talking about, the emotional side of it, Deadpool's relationship with Vanessa, who was his love interest in the first movie, that was kind of the spine of this movie. And, you see at the beginning how they've progressed from the last movie in their love story. And it's so sweet and endearing as soon as Ryan Reynolds and Morena Baccarin, who plays Vanessa, as soon as they appear on screen together, you're just like watching them be in love, and it's kind of cute in a way, surprising, you know. It's very endearing, and Ryan Reynolds and Morena Baccarin, they have such good chemistry. And apart from Deadpool and Vanessa's love story, there's, you know, it really focuses on the connection between Deadpool and some of the other characters, including Julian Dennison's character, Fire Fist, and Colossus, which is surprising. And you kind of see just like, you know, Deadpool in the first movie, you know, he was kind of afraid to fall in love, to kind of show himself to Vanessa because of his deformities and how he looks. And this one, it's kind of him embracing family. And it's pretty cool. There's a joke at the beginning of the movie where he says, this is a family movie. And you kind of see why that is as the movie progresses. And then, of course, the other actors playing the team on the X-Force, you know, they're really good. There wasn't a lot of X-Force in this movie, but it sets up for an X-Force movie so well. And I'm really interested in seeing those characters and possibly an expanded, you know, cast of characters in an X-Force movie if it should arise. And, you know, there is some fun cameos that I won't spoil, of course. The action is really well done, and I just like the whole look of the movie. David Leitch, who took over directing duties from Tim Miller, you know, brings kind of a different style to the movie. And everything just looks so good. You know, Cable's costume, well, not really costume, but, you know, he's half cyborg, and he has a glowing eye. That just looks so interesting and real. And just everybody's costumes, from you know, Domino's style to some of the other characters, and then just the whole the way that the world is portrayed. You know, it's really interesting style, and the action is top notch. The action is solid. It doesn't get too crazy. There's no like really big, outstanding action sequences. But it's pretty solid and it moves the story along. The movie didn't go very far in like satirizing comic book movies like I thought it would. It's much more, you know, parodying comic book movies, which is great. But I was kind of expecting a little bit more in the humor, a little bit more satire. But it worked for what it provided, and the jokes landed. A lot of the jokes landed, and it's funny because some of the jokes I could hear that the audience that I was with, they really didn't get it. It took them a while to get the jokes. And there's like joke after joke, but really not many of them fell flat. The only thing I would say was like with Doe Pinder's character, the cab driver from the first movie, he returns. He has some weird humor, weird jokes in it that were a little, they didn't fall flat, but they were a little strange. I really didn't know how to take it. But other than that, funny from beginning to end, action-packed from beginning to end, and there was so much heart in the movie that I really liked. And I think that the biggest laughs come in the mid-credit sequence. There's no end credit little clip, but stay throughout the credits because there is some scenes there that kind of tie in or kind of tie up some loose ends from the movie, and they're hilarious. And again, there's some other cameos in there that are you got to see. The audience that I watched it with really enjoyed the movie. And like I say, they didn't get some of the jokes because there's a lot of pop culture references, and you know, and also, you know, there's a lot of good music, and it's funny. There's a Cher song close to the end of the movie, and I actually left the theater kind of with that song in my head and just feeling, you know, kind of in a good mood because of that song. Kind of strange, I know, but I really enjoyed the movie overall. I would give it a 7.5 out of 10. Probably, you know, it's not the best superhero movie out there, but it's funny and it's action-packed. And, you know, another thing, it is an R-rated superhero movie. There is a lot of blood and guts in there, a lot of swear words. I would say it's okay for, you know, like the 15 and over crowd. I would recommend this movie if you've seen the first one and you enjoyed the first one. It's pretty much more the same. It kind of amps up the action, amps up the humor, amps up the heart. And it was a really good story. And I would love to see another Deadpool movie. I don't know how many they could make before it gets a little tired, maybe. I mean, I would love to see Deadpool as a supporting character in other X-Men movies. That would be really interesting. I really do hope they bring back Domino, they bring back Cable for future movies. And especially, I would see an X-Force movie, definitely, based on what I've seen in this movie. Yeah, other things that I enjoyed were, you know, the opening credit sequence is very funny. And it comes after some shocking, like a shocking cold open. but it's very funny. It's kind of like a riff on the James Bond openings. You know, I can see how much love and care Ryan Reynolds has for this character, and you know, I would like to see more. So let me know what you thought about the movie, and maybe we'll put up another spoiler review in a few days so we can talk about the little goodies in there, the cameos, and you know, some of the things that would be surprises that we don't want to. Of course, I don't want to spoil here. So let me know down in the comments what you thought about Deadpool 2 when you saw it. Go on and see it if you like the first one, like I said. And thank you for watching this review. We'll have more reviews coming up soon, and we have a lot more videos on our YouTube channel for you to watch. Thank you so much.